All right, thanks everybody for coming out tonight and the opportunity to discuss business apps with you today. Basically, just to start things off, what is a business app, or what do we define a business app as? We would describe a business app as really any application that is used in any critical part of your business or important steps of handling data within your business. And it falls into a few different categories. The first one is off-the-shelf software, which everybody probably is already using in their business. In this case, QuickBooks is an example of that. Another example is industry-specific software. So, for example, Blackboard is software that's used in educational institutions. And then the third category that we look at is custom. So custom-developed applications that are to fit unique problems in your business, or problems that can't be solved with typical software because it's just a problem that doesn't exist to the entire market. So that's where LinkSmart fits in specifically. That's what our niche is looking into those areas of your business that it may not be worth necessarily investing in a large piece of off-the-shelf software if what you only really need is one small component, or if the off-the-shelf software does a lot of great things, but it does a lot of tasks in a way that you don't really want it to do, and there's no other options. So you wouldn't use custom to build something that already exists in off-the-shelf, but you would use it to solve unique problems that don't exist in off-the-shelf. So the way we do it is we look at a company's processes, or a lot of times they know the processes that are inefficient or not handled effectively with current software or any software. It could be still paper-based information flow throughout the company. But we identify any redundant tasks or repetitive tasks that are happening within the organization, and we flag those as opportunities to improve through the use of business apps. In general, we try to look at tasks that are low in complexity but high in frequency. Basically, the lower the complexity of the task, then the less expensive it would cost to develop it, and then the higher the frequency of the task is the more iterations and opportunities you'll have to achieve a return on that application. The other area that we look at is in a lot of businesses there's separated data. So you may have 3 different primary systems that you're using for your business data, and none of them talk to each other. And you're basically throwing human hours at moving information between the 3 systems. So that's another opportunity for just streamlining the processes of moving that data around in between systems, and whether using APIs or different methods of importing and exporting to try to get that to go automatically or with minimal amount of human hours. And then lastly is legacy systems. So a lot of times customers or businesses will have pre-existing systems that are in their operations and they're used in the core of their business, but they're not supported, or they were built internally and they really don't have a team to support that software, or it's at end of life. But basically they need a way out, and if the off-the-shelf software is not going to do those specific tasks, then sometimes these fall into an ideal category as well. So next are the general goals of business apps. So the first goal is reduce costs. So if we can get a lot of automation happening in a business, then we're going to be able to reduce the costs of the tasks that are being automated. Secondly is improve business intelligence. So as a result of collecting all this information and being able to add context to some of the data that you're collecting in these systems, you can then report on it, or you can get real-time updates or mobile updates on some of these potentially key performance indicators of your business that are within the business app. And lastly, increase accountability. So depending on how much interaction, say, you or your staff have with business apps, you could pull back automated reporting or automated performance metrics on the staff members as a whole or automatically. So there's and the staff would know that these are in place, and as a result, you could increase accountability in these scenarios. So the way we use it, basically, everything that we build, primarily what we build is web-based technology. So whether it's working on a computer, desktop, laptop, tablet, or a smartphone, it'll work in all those different kinds of devices. And I believe Tim is going to go into even more depth on the mobile side as well with native apps or other web-based apps. So I'll just run through a quick example with you of a company that implemented a business app to solve a problem in their business that there was no desktop software that they could find that would meet their needs. So this is a company it's an international company, but they piloted a business app within Ontario with the expectation of rolling it out throughout the world. But basically they have a number of promotion staff members that go out to all different promotional sites with inventory, with company vehicles, and they do their promotions. There's a bunch of information that they need to log at each promotion and report it back to their head office. So what they were doing prior to implementing the business apps were first they were logging all of their timesheets and their performance of the individual promotion sessions that they did. They were also logging the inventory usage of their products, and they were also logging information about their vehicles and maintenance and the kilometers and things like that. All that information was being put into separate sets of spreadsheets per person, or per vehicle, or per team anyways. And then every week they were actually meeting back up and submitting all these documents to their admin, who then was reviewing them and creating another spreadsheet. And then that was basically tabulated and double-checked and then submitted to the finance department. Okay, so and this was happening every single week, probably about 30, 40 people involved. It was really redundant and very error-prone as well. So the way we changed that was all that information was simply being logged to a mobile app that the staff member logged into, and as they logged their information of the performance of the individual events, it would automatically be logged to the database, and the admin could read them in real time. So they didn't have to wait for that old data a week later to see it, and they could see it in real time. And it was just simply forwarded off to finance. So this was something that had higher durations. Every week they were doing it, and there's about 40 people involved. So there's a large amount of return that was available to be achieved there. And so basically, as a result, they have improved timesheet accuracy on their staff members as well as the performance of their individual promotion sessions. Also, there's GPS tagging in the application as well. So when that staff member actually punches in and punches out for their shift, the GPS coordinates are also tagged, and that helps increase accountability. As well, I don't know if they've ever used the feature, but they do have a geofencing feature in there. So if that staff member is supposed to be at a certain location and then they punch in, but they're still half an hour away, there's a report to see why is that staff doing that, or whether they use it or not, the staff knows that it's there, so it would at least avoid any early punch-ins or early punch-outs. And then a lot of the tasks were automated. So overall, that helped reduce costs, improve business intelligence, and increase accountability. The last slide here is why now? Why do we think that now is a really important time to consider business apps? So the first reason is the connectivity barriers to entry are so low. 10 years ago, you really didn't have this kind of connectivity available to you at the kind of prices that you're used to now, and that's a huge barrier that's gone. As well, development is or code distribution and open source code distribution is so widely available now, more than it's ever been. That gives developers an opportunity to work with a lot of really good code at a really efficient rate. So development costs are also lower relative to the types of features and development you can do. And lastly, everybody here probably is already invested in business apps in the sense that you already have the hardware. Okay, so we already have essentially the terminals to these business apps. And something like this, if you wanted to have the capabilities of a smartphone 10 years ago, it would have been much more challenging to be able to roll something out like this But now, the costs are significantly different. The concept of business apps is not new. It's been around, since the 50s. It's a new concept to be introduced to small to medium-sized businesses because of these barriers being lowered. So that's my presentation. Thank you very much.